get cracking. Okay. So session's finished and it's 6 o'clock. This afternoon we've got the pretty important leadership challenge, which is going to be kicking off, and it's going to be pretty volatile, I think. Leadership challenge: Conservative Party lawmakers are voting for or against Prime Minister Theresa May amid growing discontent on the Brexit deal. So whether or not you're sick and tired of hearing about Brexit, it's the main issue at the moment, affecting certainly the UK. And it's pretty severe potential impact on the market. It's 6 o'clock, so I'm going to be making sure that I'm away from the market by then. So we're just going to do a quick summary and have a look and see what happened out there on the market today. So this morning, in the broadcast, I was talking about the 950 level potentially being an area of resistance, and it was just simply because it was a trend-defining level. It was the previous lower swing high, as you can just see from up here at the 566. You've got a series of lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and then here you created a lower high, but it technically isn't confirmed because this low at 725 here didn't break the 584 low down there. So after breaking higher than the 886, it suggested that it was going to go and have a run at this 948 high over here. It's actually just about pierced it, so that technically kills this bearish trend. So we'll see now whether or not we form a new trend or whether it's just a pierce and it continues to move to the downside. So one thing that does interest me at the moment, though, is the fact that you can see how volume was increasing on these swings. The arrow is just a little bit away, but you can see what I'm pointing to, hopefully. And the final swing, volume started increasing, but even now, volume's not particularly high. So I'm just wondering how significant that might be. We'll find out. Anybody who's looking to sell is probably not looking at selling from these prices, so they're either just taking their profits or just waiting for price to get back to a level that they're happy with to do business before they start loading up on shorts again. So I'll be interested to see how price responds around this level. All right, let's move on. As far as price action went today, we bounced on quite a few interesting areas. We kicked off with a gap higher, and there was actually a mini gap in my data here, but I don't know whether that's just a glitch in my data feed. But the first run to break or to take the gap out this morning failed to close the full gap, certainly as I can see it, but it found the point of control, and that's a level that's pretty significant. And what I find particularly interesting is that it only dug into it by a couple of points and it bounced straight off of it. So a lot of people would be short and trapped on that would have been looking for a gap close, and it's turned around and wondering why is it turned around there. Well, that's the reason. It happens quite often. The point of control is magnetic for price. So it bounced off of that, created a new high for the day, bounced off of this just very, very crude, simple, upsloping, low-to-low trend line, which is a barrier. Created a double top, pierced through that, held it, little zigzag there, and we've kind of continually baited or tested that zone as we get into the slightly less volatile part of the session. So a pretty interesting session for the day. As far as trades are concerned, I entered into 5 strategy trades. I'll look at those in a moment. Executed a few of the trades the way I wanted to. They didn't work out exactly as I was expecting, but that's trading. And I also entered into a DAX long and a FTSE long from around about sort of mid to late morning, and one of them was a break-even trade, one of them was a winner. If you want more information on those, you can go and find them. Just have a look on the website, thedaxtrader.co.uk, and click the menu, and there's an option that says trading history or something like that, and you can go and find it out. It's all listed in the spreadsheets. All right, as far as the strategy is concerned for today, then we'll just load that up over here. I'll just look at the DAX. Maybe we'll take a look at the others as well. But I did 2 DAX trades and 3 FTSE trades today. There were opportunities to execute on the other the other markets as well, but I didn't take it. So I came into today's session with no predetermined bias. So I was pretty neutral. and I was thinking to myself, if I was going to get into a long, then I was going to be looking at buying if we were underneath VWAP, and if we was going to get into a short, I was going to get into a short if I was above VWAP. Now VWAP for me, if you're not familiar with this already, is the middle line, and the first signal I had on the strategy was a sell, pretty much just straight away into the 8 o'clock. Well, it's not really the open, but it's the time that I look to start trading personally with this strategy. So I don't trade the first hour, which is why it's grey. So ignored the first sell signal because it was below VWAP. If I had a predetermined bearish bias, possibly could have taken that short, but I didn't. So the first trade I got into was this long here, and simply wait for the candle to close, open it as soon as you can. In this respect, it retraced pretty quickly, so I managed to get slightly better entry. It got a few points into profit before turning around and eventually taking me out, and that one took me out for about just under 0.5% as a loser, just checking on the spreadsheet there. I was looking for a move up to 942, so had I have actually just done a simple set and forget with that signal, it wouldn't have actually hit the stop loss, and I think I would have actually hit my target, because in the second half of the session, of course, we've seen price action rally, and there you go, you can see it would have just tagged it. So oh well, I executed the trade the way that the strategy is intended to do so, and the reason I got out of the trade is because I closed below this dynamic stop loss down here. As soon as that happens, get out. There was another opportunity to get back in on this one here, but I didn't take it, and so I probably should have done that, but I didn't. And this third signal to buy here was not really a valid trade signal for me, as far as from my neutral bias, it wasn't below VWAP. Turned out to be a good one in hindsight, but you know, hindsight trading is always very easy to do. So I ignored all these sell signals for the simple fact that they were not above VWAP. Okay, now as I was getting towards the end of the session, I kind of walked away from it really. So this signal here probably should have just taken, but I wasn't there at the screen to be able to do so, so I didn't. So I missed that opportunity to do the short. If you're not familiar with this strategy already, then there are loads of articles on the website. Go and check those out, and it kind of goes through it in some detail. Again, website thedaxtrader.co.uk, click the menu, and there's an option for the DAX Trader strategy. Go and have a read on it on there. Back to the screen. In the grey area, I'm ignoring everything in there because that's between 11 and 1. I'm not going to be trading. And into the second half of the session, I took a short here. This was my second DAX trade, and that was a full stop loss for me. It was out pretty quickly. Took a short above VWAP, got taken out straight away. In hindsight, would I have done anything any differently? Maybe so, because you can see that there's a clear bullish momentum from the first half of the session. However, in my opinion, I was still thinking 950 is probably going to be a trend barrier. If I was going to be looking to take a trade, it would not be a long into that trend barrier, it would be a short when it bounces away from it. But it didn't quite get there. Decided to take it anyway, and then after that happened, I'd already had my 3 bullets for the day because of my FTSE trades. It didn't work out quite so well today. So I just walked away, which meant I missed these 2 sell signals here, which would not have worked, and this sell signal here, which also would not have worked. So probably saved myself a little bit of money by being disciplined on that. Would I have then been looking to think I've made a mistake and I should have had a bullish bias at the beginning of the day, based on the fact that on the daily chart and others, it's starting to suggest that there is a failed bearish swing structure? Possibly. That's the one thing I can probably start to just put in the trade diary and just keep a note on situations where it's happened like that, because I was starting to get the inkling in this morning's video where I was talking about this chart here, saying that this looks to be a failed lower low, and when you get that, often suggests that it's going to go and attack the trend defining level. Anyway, just finally finishing off with the FTSE, and these were the trades that I got into today. Now, similar sort of situation really. I was neutral. Didn't really have any predetermined bias for FTSE. I was happy to buy or sell, and I got a couple of buy signals whilst underneath VWAP, which fit my criteria. I was happy with that. Realised that there was some headroom to move above, and so took the trade. That particular one was a full stop loss. It was a little bit annoying. You shouldn't get emotion in trading. You shouldn't get excited if you win. You shouldn't get frustrated if you lose. But that one did smart a little bit this morning because it tagged my stop loss by like a fraction of a point and then ran to target. It happens. Sometimes they go in your favour. Today it didn't. We won't rue the failed trades. There's no point crying about it. We'll move on. So the next one was another long. Same situation really as far as it fulfilled the criteria. It just about was below VWAP when the candle started, and took the long and held it until this area up here. The one thing I was questioning myself on after the trade was would or should I have perhaps managed it slightly different because of these deviation candles here. Now these yellow candles are just telling me that price is closing above the deviation high in this case, which is this line up here. 2 standard deviations away from VWAP, which is the middle line here. When you close above deviation high, you've got a higher probability of some form of snapback trade. So you can just do simple trend barrier trend lines, and when you break below those, you often find that you're going to get some kind of retracement. So should I have perhaps been managing my stop loss behind those? Maybe. Could that have meant that I would have got myself out of the trade a little bit higher up? Possibly. So, have I executed the trade perfectly? Maybe not. But kind of happy that I was disciplined, stuck to the strategy, and just waited for it to close and took it out. I started moving the stop loss behind this first shelf, which is this shelf here, and that was the point that I got spiked out. I think it was on this candle here. I can't remember now. And that was it for the morning. So that was just over 2% added on that trade. It was a pretty nice trade. Nothing in the middle. And then I had a short here, and with the first FTSE trade being a loser and one of the DAX trades being a loser, this third one I just walked away. I had 3 bullets. I think, if I'm honest, I was still a little bit, I'm admitting emotion here, but I think if I'm honest, I was a little bit pissed off with that first trade. So there you go, I've said it. We all feel emotion, but you've got to try and control it as much as you can, I guess. So I probably did the right thing by walking away. And the fact that I was selling into what clearly was looking to be a bullish momentum was also maybe a little bit annoying for me, because I had to accept the fact that I was wrong, made a mistake. And so, you just hold your hands up, accept it. It's going to happen. I'm going to make loads of mistakes in trading. Everybody does. But the key is to try and record it all and use your recall when it happens again, so you don't always make the same mistakes twice or 3 or 4 times or whatever. So that was the FTSE, and there were loads of other opportunities today. I didn't take anything on the Dow. The Dow sometimes is just a little bit volatile for me, but the strategy works great. Any momentum strategy really works great on the Dow because it just moves. When it gets into a move, it goes. And this, at its core, is just a momentum strategy, and there are hundreds of them out there, and they're all pretty similar. They all look for momentum. Momentum is the same thing. It's when a trade moves or a market moves, it goes into price discovery. So any momentum strategy will pick that up. But you can see these. There was a buy signal here that looks like it would have actually been really nice, but I didn't take it, decided not to. I was already in maybe the FTSE and the DAX at that point, and just decided that 3 was too many, and I was happy to just stick to the 2. But it would have run quite nicely, and this would have been a great trade. Whether or not it would have been a full profit, I don't know if it would have been. Probably wouldn't have gone into about there. No, it doesn't look like it would have been. But 2-3%, once it gets taken out over here, still a pretty good start. And there would have been a sell signal here as well. That would have been valid. It was above VWAP. I didn't have any predetermined bias on the Dow, so I would have taken this buy signal down here or that one here, ignored this one, ignored that buy signal and taken this sell signal. Don't know if I'd have got much out of it because I'd have been stopped out down here somewhere. after having got in somewhere on this candle, the second blue candle. Second half of the session didn't do anything, but that was a valid sell signal there. If I was having a neutral bias, a valid sell signal there and a valid sell signal there. This one would have failed, and that probably would have pushed me over my 3 bullet limit, and I'd have walked away at that point anyway. So, but yeah, really kind of interesting day. Didn't quite go perfectly to the plan that I was trying to execute, but that's trading. That's what happens sometimes. And I'll just take a quick look in on the strategy, and then I'll wrap it up for today, and I am done. So nothing on the VWAP side to note. And this is really the main thing that I'm looking at the moment. A couple of targets to the upside. If we continue and we break through the 950 and then manage to break through the 11k, which is more than likely going to be a little bit volatile, as it normally is, a big round number, then the start of the previous gap, which is over here somewhere, is around about 11,075 or 11,100, somewhere in there, is probably going to be a good target. Beyond that, if we continue through, then we're really looking for this exposed point of control from the 5th of December. There are 3 exposed POCs right now. It's unlikely we're going to get the 471 that quickly, but hey, the DAX can surprise pretty easily. So that's it. That's me. That's my thinking for today. And really now all eyes are turning on to what's going to happen at 6 o'clock. So we've got 20 minutes left now, and then we are over to the Brexit leadership challenge. So we'll see what happens. Not going to give my thoughts. Really, genuinely don't know what's gonna happen with it, but I'll be watching it for sure. But anyway, guys, hope that was useful. I'll look forward to getting started with another one of these tomorrow in the morning. If you want to come and join me, please do. I'll run through the normal technical analysis and the key levels and bits and pieces. If there's anything specific that you want to run through, then let me know. Send me a message, leave some feedback. Subscribe to this channel and you'll be notified when I'm going live. And during the day when I'm actually not on the mic, I will be broadcasting a stream to the strategy, which has about a 1 minute delay. So, if you want it real time, you can get access to the strategy. Just go to the website, check out that page, send me a message if you want more information. But anyway, hope you have a nice evening, and we will catch up with you guys again tomorrow. Take care.